The international and local civil organizations are starting to come out hard on the government of General Kaguta Museveni. And they were endorsed by the UN Council. There is a speech that was made, and it showed that Uganda is not left alone. In fact, here's a tape.
We are appalled at the crackdown on dissent in Uganda, alongside a gradual erosion of the rule of law, increased military involvement in civilian institutions, and shrinking civic space, all of which are creating a climate of fear throughout the country. Those who dare to speak out are silenced. There is increased self-censorship, further stifling of public debate, and deepening polarization. Since the general elections on the 15th of January this year, we have received information that at least 50 opposition leaders and supporters, 5 human rights defenders, and 5 journalists have been subjected to human rights violations. These include instances of enforced disappearance, torture and ill treatment, and arbitrary arrest or detention based on legal provisions which do not comply with international human rights law. 10 leading civil society organizations have also been suspended since January of this year, while others have been closely scrutinized and at times subject to harassment. We've also received information about increased military involvement in functions that are ordinarily carried out by civilian institutions. Some media outlets have been forced to close temporarily. We call on the government to abide by its obligations under international human rights law, the African Charter, and the Ugandan Constitution to ensure a vibrant civil society where everyone can freely express their views and participate in public affairs.
That is the speech that was made. Truth is, we are in a global society. Something that happens in Uganda can easily be known by the outside world. And I keep on telling people that anyone who is fighting for freedom and for human rights cannot stop to indulge the international community, because the international community has a role to play when it comes to fighting for freedom and fighting for human rights. For a long period of time, the NRM government has been abusing human rights. And as we are nearing transition, it is even becoming worse. Opposition leaders are jailed, they are taken as enemies. Every dissenting view is subjugated. Everyone who comes out to speak is threatened by the criminal justice system. So as Ugandans continue to agitate for human rights, even engagements on international scenes must continue to be done. So the purpose of this video, I've come to talk about the role of the civil rights organizations and the UN, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the certain materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawaga. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. One, Uganda is going to the dogs slowly by slowly. There is no rule of law, there is no constitutionalism, there is continuous abduction, forceful disappearances. How can you tell me that a person went to the bush to fight for freedom is now abusing the same freedom? Someone is arrested, taken to the basement, and posted on media while being tortured. We've seen very many scenarios where opposition figures and supporters and their aides limping from the basement before being taken to court. And the court continue to remand them using the criminal justice system. We are in an era where opposition leaders are running in exile, and those who don't run in exile are taken. Trumped-up charges are put on them. Right now, the person who was opposing General Kaguta Museveni in the names of BOBI is in exile. Sam Junganda is in exile. And all of the people who are here, staying here, are continuing to be taken in jail. BOBI came on in a tweet and said, a total of 246 civil organizations from around the world, brought together by their global alliance, Civicus, have written this letter to the international community calling for urgent action to stop the escalating human rights abuses and dictatorship in Uganda. The letter highlights arbitrary arrests, abductions, torture, attacks on journalists and Uganda civil society organization, electoral fraud and continued targeting of opposition leaders, lawyers and human rights defenders. It especially urges bodies including the UN, African Union and East African Committee to act now and rein in dictator Museveni and his depraved son, Mohozi. We welcome this strong show of global solidarity and call on the international community to act decisively before the situation in Uganda deteriorates beyond a point of no return. That is Bobi Wine thanking the civil rights organization across the globe for petitioning the UN about the human rights abuses. Now, there are very many people who come out to mock Bobi Wine to be outside Uganda. But as a revolutionary, he also keeps on doing some work. When I was engaging in politics, because I'm also a player in this political spectrum, one of our teachers, is called Kakande, told us when you engage in politics, especially when you are taking on a dictatorship or an authoritarian, you expect three things. One, you expect jail, because their language is intimidation, so they can intimidate you with jail. Two, you expect running in exile. We've seen leaders running in exile. Not here in Uganda, everyone who takes on an authoritarian. Three, you expect death. We've seen so many political deaths. Like Chivalama cannot be explained where he is. We've seen people being shot on the streets because of protesting for their human rights. Okay? The language of authoritarian is not political engagement. It's the reason as to why when Mwanga Chivumbi was gotten out of jail and went did his statements, they slapped charges of incitement to take him back to jail. Instead of, because politics must be settled by politics. If Mwanga Chivumbi made those statements, it was incumbent upon the regime to also go in the same area and pronounce taking on Mwanga Chivumbi, because the answer of politics is politics. The moment you start answering politics with jail, okay, the moment you start answering politics with taking people to jail, beating them, torturing them, then there is escalation. And I keep on telling people, all countries that have failed, they have ever been here, they don't listen to the people. They think that having the army is all enough. And by the time they know that having the army only is not enough for political direction, it is always too late, and it leads to the breakdown of the country. The people who lead us are playing a Russian roulette with our country, and soon, I don't beg this to happen, there will be more escalation, there will be more casualties as we enter this transition, and it won't be good. Of course, that's my PM, yours truly, Mr. Makinde, Kabesholeman Magal. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I'm motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.